snap me out of it.
Did you know that the apple I'm
Shut your
eating
mouth. You
has
shut your
more
mouth.
caffeine than the energy drink that
Ashley,
you're drinking?
No.
God says
I know
so.
what you're doing. No.
God and the doctors.
No.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, no.
An apple is God's caffeine that he gave us.
Oh, my God. He also gave us coffee beans, you dum-dum.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He gave us espresso.
What?
He did give us coffee beans.
I know.
But it's different.
Shh.
You have to brew them. There's a whole process. God gave us apples for energy.
For
Your voice.
Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Is hiring challenging? Yes. Do you love a good challenge? Also, yes. You need a hiring partner that can help you rise to the challenge. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Just go to Indeed.com/unsolicited and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/unsolicited. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Today's episode is brought to you by Jenny Kane. Summer is officially here, and that means it's time for a wardrobe refresh. Jenny Kane is a California brand through and through, so they know how to do summer. Think minimalist and effortless, but totally refined. From flowy dresses and lightweight cotton cardigans to elevated versions of all your everyday basics, not to mention the most incredible home essentials too. Jenny Kane is here to help you live your best summer yet. One of my favorite Jenny Kane pieces right now is the Chloe cardigan. It's perfect for when you go to the beach and it's getting a little chilly and you just want to throw something on your beach clothes. It is by far one of my beach staples. Jenny Kane is known for their super luxe cashmere sweaters, but trust us, they do summer cotton better than anyone. Find your forever pieces at jennykane.com, and our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code ADVICE at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at jennykayne.com, promo code ADVICE. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about.
It's the second episode. You guys know what that means.
Oh,
Silly Goofy Ash is here.
is she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
We love Silly Goofy Ash.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
You don't. I don't believe that for a second.
Crackhead Taryne will be here in 5 minutes once my Lottie knew. Do you remember? I always, every time we do 2 episodes and we have energy drinks, I always bring this up. Mm-hmm. But do you remember that the first time we brought Celsius and recorded 2 episodes?
Yeah.
And I remember when I was listening back to it, I was like, Ashley, we literally sound like we're on drugs.
We sounded like chipmunks.
We were talking so fast and talking over each other and laughing at things that were not funny.
Yeah, I have since then, because what was I? 28?
The ripe old age, 28. Were you? Well, we've
done 28 or 29.
Doing this 4+ years.
Yeah, something like that. I have since then realized the amount of caffeine I had back then had me on edge.
That's very true. You would have multiple coffees. You'd have pre-workout.
Be jittery. I would feel so weird to the point where I'd feel like I had to eat bread to make myself feel better.
Chill out.
Because I was having so much caffeine.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I literally can't anymore because of like different meds I'm on.
Yeah.
Like if I do, I literally will feel, I can feel my heart trying to escape my body.
Now I'm literally, I will have like a cup and a half, or I'll have pre-workout.
You know,
and
that's
that's
funny.
it. Like I can't do more.
Last episode, we are talking about like tips for our 20s. And then we start this one out like, oh yeah, back in the day, I used to have 2 cups of coffee.
I used to have a lot of coffee.
I know, you love
coffee.
coffee.
Three cups.
Yeah, girl.
I'd have like my morning just cup of black coffee, and then I'd have my like second cup of coffee, and then at 3 p.m. slump I'd have a latte like every day.
Yeah,
which was
that's a
so
latte.
bad for you. That's a latte. That's a good joke. Hello everyone.
Hi. Oh, you're here.
Oh, we're recording a podcast.
Whoops.
You'd think after 4+ years we'd be more professional with our intros.
I am professional. Michaela, what date is this coming out?
July 10th.
Oh, perfect.
Lovely.
Because I did see a fact about Independence Day that just passed for you and is to come for us. Inception. Did you know that Americans eat enough hot dogs during Independence Day or 4th of July to stretch from Washington, D.C.
Oh my God.
to Los Angeles
Oh my God.
5 times? I love a hot dog. I love me a hot dog. I do. But
Why'd you
5
say it like
times.
that?
I don't know. I just felt the need to. 5 times.
That's
If you
that's
just
too
line up
much.
those little wieners all the way
That's
from
too
DC to
much.
LA 5
times.
That's disgusting.
That's so much.
But also, bet. Try it. I want to see the videotape footage.
Imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. That's so much.
A lot of,
That's
it's
gross.
a lot of
Oscar Mayer wieners.
potentially beef, pork. We don't know.
Oof. Yeah. Oof.
Moving on. Hi,
I have such a
Ashley.
hard time with stuff like this because I am a meat eater, and sometimes things like that will deeply affect me. And if I think about it too much,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
I
gotta
can't.
roll past.
We gotta keep going, otherwise I'm gonna
roll
become
past.
a vegetarian in front of all of your ears listening.
Let me hear a pro tip from someone who I was vegan for a year and then I was vegetarian for a while. All because I'm freaking weird, and I read a book and I was like, you can't do it for a year. Yeah, I can. And I just did it. I literally on a flight read a book and then decided on the flight and just didn't eat meat again for like years. Not years. It was like a year and a half. But let me just say something. If you are going to become vegetarian, you really need to like be ready to commit, because it's very hard to start eating meat again after you're vegetarian. Like mentally, physically, everything. It was really hard for me, and I wanted to. And to this day, I still get like freaked out by stuff a lot easier than I used to.
Yeah.
So just really just think about it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I tried to be vegan for a year, and it ended up being 6 months because I missed sushi. So I became pescatarian.
Pescatarian, yeah.
Yeah. Also,
That's my nightmare.
I would love to talk to a vegan who did it right, because
I did it right.
I did not. I was like, fries. I guess I'll eat fries, because there was nothing else available at that restaurant. And the amount of times I did that.
Yeah. No, it's doing your research and like getting creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And taking supplements.
Yeah. Anyways, where are we?
We're not dietitians.
No, we're not.
So
we're
let's
gonna get into the. This
Hey,
is what happens
guys.
with 2 episodes. It's always just like pure chaos, because
Weird.
like for me, I'm like, did I read my story already? No, because I'm looking at the clock and it's been 6 minutes. Also, I feel like my drink officially has kicked in.
My apple kicked in a long time ago. So
Shut your mouth.
catch up, energy drink.
Shut your mouth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm
Ashley.
Ashley. That's Taryne.
They know.
Now we've started.
You have a touch of like, I don't know if it's OCD or what, but you have a touch of like, all I can sense when you're like, no, I have to say this.
Well, it's the intro.
Or like the end, like you have to say.
It's the ending.
I love it. No, I love that for you.
How do you know?
Did you hear her eyes roll at me? Because I feel like everyone could probably hear that. Audibly hear that.
Anyways.
How is you? How are you?
I'm great.
Give us like an update, something new.
Yeah, let's do an update. In real time for our listeners, I will have just came back from a very long road trip to Colorado and back.
You can't give a future update because like you can't tell us how the trip went. Like an update in your life now.
I already know the trip's going to go great.
Okay.
I'm going to feel refreshed. I'll be freshly tanned from the road trip.
And that was the last we ever heard from her. I'm going to literally throw that freaking apple. God. Anyways, wow. What's an update about me? I think I've officially come to the realization and acceptance that I have a really I just wheezed so loud. What? What?
So sorry.
Oh no. I think I have a problem with like shopping on Amazon. Like I knew that, but I
know.
I haven't really. I've realized it because I told myself that I can't buy anything from Amazon for the rest of the month. This was like a couple weeks ago. It was like, you can't, just for a month. Put it in your cart.
Are you trying to budget or are you trying to just like
No, I'm just trying to like make sure I
things?
don't have a problem because I had the like sense like you might have like a weird addiction.
Are you starting to feel like a pull?
Well, here's the thing.
Amazon app?
Because I do a lot of Amazon content and I love
For sure.
I am an Amazon icon.
Creator, obviously.
But it started to get to a point, and this is what I'm going to say. I would go to like reach for something in my drawer, and I would be like, it'd be cool if I had something that slid from the drawer so I didn't have to reach that extra 10 inches. I'm on Amazon.
Yeah.
I would go to like do something in my house, like with a light or something. I'd be like, it'd be cool if like this light, I just like everything in life. I'd be like, I bet they have something on Amazon.
Which is fine.
Until
you're buying everything.
No, I have like boxes of stuff I've bought that I have not created content for.
Ooh.
That I'm like, it's just been sitting in there. So did I actually need it?
Right.
So I'm trying to just like rein myself in. But I definitely have a problem because the amount of times, you should see how many things are in my cart. The amount of times I've reached for my phone to like see if they have something on Amazon and put it in my cart is actually insane.
Yeah.
So this has been a great like, what's it called? Withdrawal for me. And we'll see what happens next month. I might need,
Raise your hand, audience, if you also are an Amazon addict.
I bet I could beat you. I would die if anyone ever saw my like how many things I bought from Amazon and returned, and
it would
like,
be
blah,
interesting,
blah, blah.
even with like it would be interesting like how much you've spent period to find out that number on Amazon.
Thousands.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean over like a while, not like just last month.
No,
chill out, everyone. Okay. I looked up because like famous birthdays has something on me, and I think that's freaking hilarious. So I Googled every once in a while I'll just Google myself to be like,
sure, yeah,
what if something weird's on the internet, you know? So I'm happy to report there's nothing. So calm down, put your phone down. You're not going to see anything. But it's always funny because when I Google myself, famous birthdays comes up and like a few other things. But there was something that said, like, what's Taryne's like net worth and like all this stuff about like my finances, which I think is hilarious.
Right, yeah.
And then it says I'm a millionaire.
Oh, nice.
Which is, I love that for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that for internet me.
Wow.
If that could translate into reality, that would be great.
That'd be nice.
But it was funny reading about myself being a millionaire. I was like, oh, I am.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. That's great. That would solve a lot of my problems.
That makes me want, like, you trust the internet so much.
Oh, I know.
So much. I constantly look up what celebrities make from movies. I wonder how accurate it is.
Well, lunch is on me, Ash.
It better be.
Just kidding.
It better be.
Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Is hiring challenging? Yes. Do you love a good challenge? Also, yes. You need a hiring partner that can help you rise to the challenge. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. We streamline hiring with powerful tools that find you matched candidates. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. One of the things I love about Indeed, and I just think is so cool, is the candidates you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Indeed is an unbelievably powerful hiring platform, delivering 4 times more talent than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest 2019. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/unsolicited. Just go to Indeed.com/unsolicited and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/unsolicited. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into y'all already know my favorite segment. Tearing it up. This is when you guys send in funny stories for up to.
Uh-huh.
Gosh darn
Come
it.
again?
For us, it's the caffeine from the apple. It's getting to me. For us
Say
to laugh
apple
at
one
you.
more time.
Apple.
Say apple one more time.
Apple.
Say apple one more time. Apple. Slap your face.
All right, let's be serious now. Let's pull it together. I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to tell you the title, so let's just get into it. Hi, Ash and Taryne. My name is Kennedy, and yes, you can say it. I now live in Arizona, but my story takes place when I lived in Washington. I'm about to be 20, and I'm Enneagram 2. Hey, Taryne.
Hey.
She continues, I've been following you both on YouTube and social media for forever and started listening to the pod from the very beginning. Since I grew up with only brothers, you girls feel like the big sisters I never had.
Cute.
This is my first time writing in, but I hope you get a kick out of it. Let's just jump right in. During my freshman year of high school, I went to the Taylor Swift's Reputation tour.
Oh,
It was so good.
so good. Wait, is that the one I went to? Yes.
You went to 89?
No. Yep. You're right.
Mhm.
You're right.
The Reputation tour was fire.
We watched it in Hawaii. Remember?
We did watch it in Hawaii. Mm-hmm.
And then we got in a fight.
Tangents.
Sorry.
She continues. I had the best night of my life, so I had to get merch. The next day at school, I decided to wear my new Taylor Swift sweatshirt, of course. I got coffee, met up with friends, and headed to class. It was a seemingly normal day. During second period, I remember looking down at my hands and thinking they looked a little pale. I thought it was just because I was cold living in Seattle. That was nothing out of the ordinary. As each class passed, I started to get a little paranoid. My hands started to look a little gray. I brushed it off thinking it was just the lighting. I had cheer practice after school, so I met up with my friends after class, and the first thing they said was, "What's wrong with your hands?" That's when I started to freak out. Now I know it's not just in my head. I ran to the bathroom and gasped when I saw it starting to creep up my neck, too. I lifted up my shirt to see my whole upper body was turning gray. I started to panic. I started feeling lightheaded, nauseous, and wanted to throw up. I felt very weak and started losing my breath. I called my parents from the school bathroom, bawling my eyes out, saying that I'm losing color and my body is starting to gray.
I already I know what's happening, and that's why this is so much funnier.
My dad literally drops everything he's doing at home and picks me up to take me to the doctor. He was very confused. He said I looked fine, and I burst out, "Dad, I'm turning gray." My mom cancels her appointments and meetings at work to meet us at the doctor's.
Oh, God.
My mom walks in right after the doctor. She looks at me and says, "Honey, did you wash your sweatshirt before you wore it?" I looked down at my brand new charcoal gray Taylor Swift sweatshirt, and suddenly all of my symptoms went away. The doctor came over with an alcohol wipe and quite literally wiped the gray off of me.
Oh, no.
I went back to cheer practice where everyone was so worried about me. And I then had to tell the entire cheer team that I went to the doctor's because the dye in my sweatshirt rubbed off on me.
Oof.
I guess you could say I had a case of the Swifties.
The Swifties.
I felt so stupid, but hey, that's me in a nutshell for you. I love you the mostest and hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Dude.
Kennedy.
That's so real. Like the amount of times I've either convinced myself I was dying or immediately been healed by the blood of Jesus. Like the second someone says something, then I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The amount of times I remember in high school, something that I loved and hate was I loved getting something new. Something like a new t-shirt.
Yeah.
A new pair of jeans. I think it was a rare thing. So whenever I got it, I immediately wanted to rip off the tag and put it on.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
So I would. And the amount of times that I would have the leftover fuzzies or the color, or I'd put on my blue denim and then my legs would be blue.
I used to always get it in the my fingers.
Yes.
And under my nails because I would itch my leg or something, and then I'd be like, what is all
and
over
it was also just the worst quality denim.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even denim at that point. That was stretchy jean era, so it was more like a fabric.
Jeggings.
Yeah. And it was just dyed blue to look denim, so I remember every time being I want to wear it, but I should probably wash it. Also, the amount of chemicals and that stuff, and you put it on your skin.
So true.
Dangerous.
And obviously, gets on it, seeps in.
Clearly.
Case
of the Swifties.
Case of the Swiftie. That's so good. I can't believe it went as far as her to get her parents to the hospital.
I know. Her mom left work.
Yeah.
Her dad dropped everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Taylor needs to step up our merch game.
She actually let me Google this. Hold on. Okay, here's my fun fact. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's current tour that she's on, her Eras tour, is set to make $4.6 billion for the U.S. economy.
Interesting. But is that Taryne is a millionaire?
I don't think so, because she actually has something in place and that makes a certain amount of money every single time.
What are you saying?
Between the venues, the people working the venues, the merch being sold, all of the tour company and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how many jobs she's supplying to each city that she's touring in.
So nuts.
$4.6 billion for our economy.
Yeah.
And God bless Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Someone's really putting in the work.
Every time I go back and forth between wanting to be famous and so glad that I'm not famous.
For sure.
I want to be famous right now, just hearing that number.
Yeah.
But then I think about all the hate and crazy people she's had to deal with.
And
then
she literally can't go get a cup of coffee for herself.
Nah, I'm good. Stalker, rich. Mm-hmm. I just sneeze.
4.6 billion.
That's
okay,
nuts.
I'm done. That's just a wild number to me.
No, it is nuts.
I knew that stuff's good for the economy, obviously, but I had no idea. Insane.
It'll be good for the economy. That TikTok. Oh my God, Taryne, shut up. Okay. I'm going to get into my story. It's called Not Feeling That quote unquote movie spark with my significant other. You know what I don't understand? Everyone says quote unquote. Is it quote unquote or quote unquote?
That's an excellent question. I always said unquote, but now I'm wondering.
Quote unquote. Quote unquote. My brain is broken.
Unquote. I bet it's unquote.
Quote unquote. But either way, if I say quote unquote, how do you know where the quote? Obviously, it's the quote is starting. How do you know where it stops?
The quote unquote is what you say next.
Yeah, but that It's the quote part is movie spark, and then it's just regular with my significant other. But I wouldn't say, what would you say? Not feeling that quote unquote movie spark.
And then you pause.
With my significant other?
Yeah.
Well, that's stupid.
That's not stupid. That makes perfect sense to me.
I should say, not feeling that quote, movie spark, unquote, with my significant other. That makes more sense. English is hard. Okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
Reel it in.
Hi, Taryne and Ashley. First, I want to say how much I love this podcast, especially the Taryne It Up's October series, and how you both make your listeners feel like you are their older sisters who they can come to about anything.
I love that. That makes me happy.
Sweet. That's like our highlight reel right there.
Exactly.
And guess what's first? Taryne It Up's me. Me. They like me more.
They like
is
us.
what I'm saying. I don't really know how to start this because I don't really know exactly what I'm asking advice for. But I figure if you read this, you'll probably have some intelligent thoughts on it. I would really appreciate hearing. I would rather be kept anonymous. This is so cute. She's like, I'd rather be kept anonymous, but then she like gives her name as if it's like, if you have to.
Yeah.
But no, your wish is my command. Anonymous. We'll keep you anonymous. I have been with my boyfriend for over 3 years now, but we've known each other since we were children and have been best friends for almost 10 years.
Wow.
I know, it's nuts, huh? I love him so much and have loved him for most of our friendship. He really feels like my person and my other half, and I love living life with him. Lately, however, I've been feeling sad in a certain aspect of our relationship. Sometimes I wonder if I'm attracted to him. I don't think about it too much until I watch movies or TV shows with compelling love stories and see other couples on Instagram that seem so attracted to each other. Like they have so much chemistry and they can't wait to get each other alone. Mm-hmm. I know that media isn't reality and media is heavily sexualized these days. And so I shouldn't compare my relationship to fake stories or people showing a highlight reel on Instagram. But I feel like I should be feeling something more. I don't ever feel like being intimate with him. I don't even want to make out with him like I did in the beginning of our relationship. I think he's handsome, and there are some times I think he looks hot, but I don't get butterflies in my stomach when I see him. I just feel that comforting feeling of a best friend. But shouldn't I feel more for a significant other? I feel like I'm constantly rationalizing why in my head, like being on birth control is messing with me, or growing up in the church is holding me back. Being in a long-term relationship has made it too comfortable and I need to spice it up more. I don't feel confident with my body, so I don't feel like being intimate. Work stress is clouding my mind. Knowing each other for so long makes it awkward, etc., etc., etc. But then sometimes I worry it's more than that and we're meant to be just friends and not partners. We're both really young still. I'm 24 and he's 23. So maybe he just hasn't come into his quote unquote,
oh no,
quote unquote manliness, pause, either, and I'll grow more attracted to him later in life. Maybe none of this makes sense and you can disregard this email, but really any advice on or thoughts you have on this would be so helpful. Sorry this is so long and probably doesn't make sense, but how do I feel that spark again in a long-term relationship, and how do I know if it will ever come back? Thank you for reading this, Anonymous. Dude, this one is rough for me.
This one is, there's so many things I want to talk about.
There's so many, and I'm just going to be very blunt, Anonymous. This is you can listen to what we have to say, but this is a very much like you need to talk to people in your life, because there's a lot of questions I have that obviously your answers might impact what I would follow up with on. So we'll just give our off the top of our head stuff like we always do.
Exactly, yeah.
But definitely, because this feels like a very, very precious thing that you could be potentially leaving. So I want to make sure I emphasize that I would definitely talk a lot with people in your life that know him, that know you, can have the back and forth conversations too. Because this it does seem very precious, and I just want to be careful to not just feel like we're just jumping in to say stuff, because there's a lot more I would want to know.
For sure.
If that makes sense.
1,000%. I mean, so many things. You are babies. So
Yeah,
I don't know what your
babies. Yeah.
definition of manliness is, but he probably, the stereotypical manliness that I'm thinking of is what I'm assuming you're going to say. And of course he's not there yet.
Nah.
He's a child. So
Also,
if
with
you're
men,
expecting that like stereotypical movie manly person, he's not close. He's not there yet. Like he's fresh out of college.
also most like real life men don't reach that.
Yeah, like I mean, if I'm guessing you're talking about like
Chris Hemsworth.
exactly. Like I'm picturing this like manly, can take care of you, can throw you over your shoulder, can like build a house, can start a fire. Like that's like the stereotypical
God of
movie,
Thunder.
you know, man.
Yes.
And a 24-year-old is just not there yet. And yes, I do think that's unrealistic, but like there are levels that like a 24-year-old just hasn't hit yet,
Yeah.
you know? So let's be gentle on him with that because you both babies.
Well, and that's a rationalization of the old, like I don't think it really has to do with him looking manly or not. It's the fact that you're not attracted, and I think that's you thinking of something can change in an area that would change my feelings. So I get that rationalization, but
I also think, on a completely separate note, I think relationships go through seasons. And even though you guys are babies, you have been together for a very long time, like a very long time. And that means that you're going to go through that, like, quote, unquote. That means that you're going to go through that, quote, unquote, honeymoon stage a lot earlier. And you probably hit it when you were in high school. Like, like let's be honest. Like, that's a long time to be with someone. So you've already gone through the honeymoon phase. You are probably in the comfortable phase, but that doesn't mean that another honeymoon phase isn't around the corner. And and if we are talking about like a life partner, you have to work through those phases. Like you are going to be more attracted to your person when you first meet them.
yeah,
You know, that attraction does fade and sometimes it reblooms in a different way. And sometimes your person like goes through life and changes and develops and becomes a different person in front of your eyes. That doesn't mean you ditch them.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to like, if this is your person, then that's your person.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be inhibiting you. The next thing is, if it is, then maybe you shouldn't be together. Because the way she worded, I'm not attracted to him, feels very harsh and definite.
Yeah.
So normally I would say that shouldn't be an issue. Like if you love the person, like that's not the number one priority. Is it a plus? Yes. Is it a priority? No. But if you're saying this is an issue for you and you're not feeling attracted to him whatsoever, you don't have to stay with him. You're not married.
See, that's where one of my follow-up questions would be, because
what does that mean?
She says she doesn't like want to make out with him or be physical with him. So where I would want clarification is, okay, is that because like it grosses you out to do it?
Right.
Or because you just don't like have that drive, which is totally normal too. Like
right.
Everyone is different on their levels of being physical and not. You are young, so I can see where it would be like, oh, that's concerning. But also like, there, as a woman, like there are medical things that could be inhibiting that too. So
for sure.
I would also check that out.
But like as your person, right? I would think like this is just me, but I do say this as I think of like it's safe for most people. Like when I get married, I can't wait for my husband to like transition into dad bod. You know, like I'm going to love him the same. Like is it a different kind of attraction than it was when we first saw each other? Yes, but like it's still an attraction. So if you're not feeling anything, that is concerning.
Yeah. See, that's where, Ugh.
You know what I mean?
So
like I'm
hard.
trying to say.
No, fully. Because I think it would, for me, I think the detail I'm getting stuck on is how young you are. Because if you were someone who was more my age writing in about this, I would be like, girl, weigh the pros and cons. Because at the end of the day, looks are totally fading.
Yeah.
And what ultimately you want is a person who feels like your best friend. Like you mentioned, like when you see him, it's just comfortable and you like feel like it's your best friend and you like love him and all these things. Like that is what a lot of people like would do anything to have with their partner. So so there's part of me that's like, okay, like, I think you need to know, like, what exactly it is that you want in a relationship. And that's hard because, like, for me, obviously, and most people, like, you go off initial attraction, but then it's so much more than that. Like,
for sure,
it's
initial attraction. Initial attraction starts the conversation, brings you together, makes him come and ask you out, makes you give him your number. Like, that's what attraction does, right?
And there's different forms of it, because there's also people that the more you get to know them, like, there's been guys that I'm like, ooh, I'm not attracted to him whatsoever. But then I see, like, their heart and how funny they are. And then all of a sudden I'm super attracted to them. So I think that, like, there's different definitions of attraction. All of this to say, I think that there is, so you obviously have a very, very precious relationship with this person. So either way, this has to be gone about very delicately, because hopefully you can, like, at least salvage, like, the friendship. But I think you've got to look at what your definitions are for things. You've got to stop comparing him to, like, movies and TV shows and other people's relationship.
That's not
Let
fair.
me just tell you, as someone who is in social media and who knows a lot of people in relationships in social media, it is night and day, the difference usually. Today's episode is brought to you by Jenny Kane. Summer is officially here, and that means it's time for a wardrobe refresh. Jenny Kane is a California brand through and through, so they know how to do summer. Think minimalist and effortless, but totally refined. From flowy dresses and lightweight cotton cardigans to elevated versions of all your everyday basics, not to mention the most incredible home essentials too. Jenny Kane is here to help you live your best summer yet. One of my favorite Jenny Kane pieces right now is the Chloe cardigan. It's perfect for, like, you know, when you go to the beach and it's getting a little chilly and you just want to, like, throw something on your beach clothes. It is by far one of my beach staples. Jenny Kane is known for their super luxe cashmere sweaters, but trust us, they do summer cotton better than anyone. Plus, everything in their collection is designed so intentionally that you can style pieces together without a second thought. Jenny Kane believes in the art of simplicity. They focus on comfort, quality, and timeless design so you can curate a wardrobe that never goes out of style. Find your forever pieces at jennykane.com, and our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code ADVICE at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at jennykayne.com, promo code ADVICE. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about.
This might sound harsh, but it's the same reason why you wouldn't want him comparing you to, like, girls on porn sites or girls on what's the app?
OnlyFans.
Like, it's the exact reason why you wouldn't want that. It's not reality.
Not realistic. It's not
real. So if that's your number one reason, you need to cut that out.
Yeah. If honestly, like, until you weed everything out, if that means you're not watching the shows that you're watching that are making you feel like that, then don't. Yeah. But I've even noticed that with sometimes, like, like a certain show or something, I'll have to, like, I remember when Twilight, the books were out, or when I read them, because I was dating my ex. And I've talked about it before on here, but I, like, went through this period of time where I was so upset at him because he was, like, nothing like Edward. And, like, in my mind, I was just like, you can't even do this. You can't even do. And he was like, Taryne, you're comparing me to a vampire. Like, you need to calm down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even for me, I had to, like, I didn't even realize that was happening until I was like, oh, I literally just caused a fight with him because I was mad at him for, like, something he didn't even do, you know? So I think, like, we do have to be careful what we're putting in if it's affecting us. I think you need to have conversations with your friends about, like, what you're feeling and what they see. I think you need to define what you think attraction is. And I also think you are at the age, because it's 18 to 25, where people change and they form into who they are. So I think there is a possibility that you guys have just grown in different directions. But I say this every time we talk about someone that could be dumping someone amazing because they don't feel something. You also are risking losing something that is amazing.
Yeah.
And when you do make that decision and he moves on with his life, and if you realize, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that, like you're also going to have to be okay to accept what comes.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there's a lot of thought that should be put into decisions like this. But in a lot of like sitting back and really breaking down, like, what are you defining and what do you want? Because to me, being with someone who's like my best friend and feels comfortable and I just get to do life with, like, I would take that over someone that I just looked at and was like, oh my God, he's the hottest guy in the world at the place I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
So I think it's just you figuring out what you want. And if you do want both and he's not giving you that, if that's what you define as what you want, then you've got to make decisions accordingly.
Yeah, I completely agree with Taryne. I think you need to sit down. And I'm a visual person, so I would write it all out. And I would figure out exactly what's the most important to you. And if it's looks, that's okay. Like, if that's what's important to you, that's totally fine. But let's not beat around the bush. Let's be honest about it. And if he doesn't have the looks that you need, that's a need because we're putting it in the need category, then it's okay to dump him for that reason. Like, it's honestly fair to him to just...
I think they've just been together for 10 years of being someone's best friend and then going more. Because she says there's times I look at him and I think he looks hot, but I don't get butterflies in my stomach. I think
you're not going to get butterflies after 10 years.
I think you're tying a lot into your perceived idea of what things should feel like and be like. Yeah. So I think you need to do a very intentional time of separating like reality and just stripping all expectations and all movie expectations and everything aside.
Yeah.
And like, how do I feel about this person? And do I want a life with them? And if at the end of the day there's things missing, then that's your answer. But I think he at least deserves a fair shot of not making decision when you're in this mentality of like, oh, well, I should feel this and he should make me do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm also interested. I don't remember everything she said specifically, but you're kind of it feels like you're kind of putting a lot on him for not being attractive enough, not having that spark or whatever. But then you're saying that you're also feeling very insecure and not wanting to like feel physical or do anything lovey-dovey with him, which would, he could easily interpret as you're not into him either. And that could easily, okay. I feel like I was going to ramble for a second, but I'm not. This is a 50-50 thing. And if you're not putting in effort to try to fix it, I think that's almost even a bigger concern than like you not feeling attracted to him. Because if you really liked him, then you would be doing things to like reignite. If you felt like you were missing something, you would be trying a bunch of fun things to reignite it instead of wondering if you should be with him.
Well, also like, I think what you just brought up was really good because, there is one part in her like list of excuses she's made. Mm-hmm. She said, I don't feel confident with my body, so maybe I don't feel like being physical. I think that guys are a lot more insecure than we like realize. Mm-hmm. So if you have been pulling back and not being as physical, not being comfortable in your body, I think a possibility could be that he's felt that. So he's tried to like give you space and like respect that. Mm-hmm. So it could be that both of you are kind of pulling away in that area. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going to a person. How many times, literally, I wish I could count how many times I've said this, telling them how you want to be loved. Like telling them like, hey, can you just come up and grab me and kiss me? Like,
can you throw me against the wall?
Can you just... That escalated. Your face. Or just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think sometimes guys are like, they just don't know. But like, and it's okay to tell them and be like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I feel like we're missing, like, I want to be playful. I want to be like feisty with you. I want to like feel like you want me. Yeah. And like what's something that you wish like I would do more, and like have it be like a conversation, and then maybe try a little bit and then see if something changes and you're like, oh dang, he was holding back and I was feeling that. You know what I mean? Am I making sense?
It's interesting because you're saying you want that like spark, that like I gotta have you now, like hands all over you, like attraction, but then you're saying you're insecure with your body and not doing a lot of physical things with him. So he's 1,000% reading that as you don't touch me. That's what you're putting off.
Yeah.
So I think if I were you, in an effort to save the beautiful relationship that you have, or at least give it a shot, have the conversation with Taryne, just get dressed up, go out on a fun date, and just like see where the night takes you. And I agree with Taryne. Like if you want him to, especially if he's 24, if you want him to be a little more like rough and like have a really passionate makeout session like in the bathroom of the restaurant that you're at or whatever, like you got to tell him and give him permission to do so, because especially as a 24-year-old, that's a little bold and could potentially like not scare, but could like come as a shock to a woman.
Yeah,
if you didn't make it clear that you wanted something like that.
And obviously you guys are so comfortable, so he could be just chilling because he's like I think that's kind of cool that he's not expecting like you to be physical with him, but he's just like your best friend and you're hanging out. And sometimes like there's women that feel the opposite pressure from guys, like they have to be physical all the time. So I think you just need to communicate. And I'm telling you right now, I know that conversation's gonna be hard, but the conversation that would be even harder is if you all of a sudden break up with him and he's like, I had no idea we were even getting close to that.
Yeah. And
it'd be better to have conversations and try to like give him an opportunity and you an opportunity to like change some things up. And then if that doesn't work, he sees that there's been gaps in the relationship instead of just being blindsided.
1,000%. And blaming it all on looks and attraction, like he could hit his 30s and glow up so hard and look like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't change the way you love him.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we need to get rid of this social media film idea of like what manliness is and see that how he has been with you and how he's been treating you and respecting you is manly. And if you just aren't feeling it for him anymore, that's totally fine.
And be very careful with your verbiage when you tell him that. Like, you don't have to go to him and be like, I just am not physically attracted to you. Like, you're not enough of a man.
Careful.
Like, I would, because we all have potential to spark damage in someone that will affect the rest of their life. So to me, I would just be like, hey, I feel like we've been friends for so long and this relationship to me feels like a friendship. And I just don't feel that like spark in like as I would want in like more of a romantic relationship, and I just feel like something's missing. I wouldn't put it personal on him. That's with anyone. If
I would make it more of a team conversation. Like, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm missing that like spark we used to have. Can we like brainstorm on like fun things that we agree on to do like in a relationship just to spice it up a bit, like, and then just literally shoot out the most random things and see what he perks up to and see what you perk up to, and then agree on like, okay, well, let's do this. And I think there's nothing wrong whatsoever. And I think this is actually helpful for shyer couples to plan, like just like you would plan a date night, like to plan something fun. Like if you're trying to be more, let me say promiscuous, I guess, then like you can plan to like have a little outfit ready like that night, and he can expect like to do this that night or whatever. And I think that actually can be like fun, like looking forward to it, like you would look forward to a vacation, you know?
Yeah, it's
and
like
it's fun.
Phil and Claire Dunphy in Modern Family, how they have their Clyde and whatever. They're like every time they're trying to like spice it up, they have their little, I freaking love those because it's like they're just like so busy, but when they're like trying so hard to like have like spice in their marriage, and then it always ends up like being crazy, you know? But
it's fun because it tells your partner exactly what you're ready for / looking for, and it gives them permission to like to dive in head first. When you like agree on like a date or like a specific thing that you're gonna do, then you're like ready for it instead of being like thrown off or having to have the conversation right before, and it kind of, you know. So like also, give you guys a chance to have some fun.
Next time you have like a more serious conversation, it'd be interesting if you just kind of like not in a crazy way, but just kind of say like, hey, can I ask you just like an honest question? Do you ever feel like we're more friends than boyfriend and girlfriend? And see what he says, because he might be feeling the exact same, honestly. And maybe like if you heard from him where he's like, no, you're my person, you're this and that. And then you can lead into like, I just feel like we used to, but like now I just feel like our relationship feels almost like a friendship sometimes. And sometimes it worries me of like, you know, like, are we missing something? Are we missing that spark? Like, you know, it'd be interesting to hear also what he has to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, wow. This is good. I didn't realize we were going to talk so long about this, but this was good.
I love it.
I love it too. I mean, I don't love that you're going through this, Anonymous. Sorry.
Just an interesting
Us
topic.
just entertaining ourselves. No, but I think you'll know what to do, and I think you just got to listen to your gut. But I would definitely get your circle of people around you. Everyone bring a notebook, write down notes, listen to this episode, answer the questions we're asking you with the people that love you, and send us an update.
Okay, ready for mine?
Yep.
All right, this one is titled, How Can I Fall Back in Love with My Life?
Oof.
Hi, ladies. You can call me Rose. I'm from Germany, Berlin, and I'm 27 years old. A few quick informational things about me. I started my big girl job 4 months ago, and I'm not sure if I like my position. My boyfriend broke up with me just a few weeks ago out of nowhere. She adds in parentheses, via FaceTime.
Oof.
She puts so effing mature. I know.
Oof.
And then continues, and I am feeling so lost. I don't know who I am, and I am trying really hard to see the beautiful things about life, but it is really hard for me. Usually I like my life. I like living, and I would describe myself as a positive and happy person, but not right now. Then she continues, about my job. I have my bachelor's and master's degree, and I am working now in a different field than what I studied. I am missing having a goal, like writing my bachelor's thesis and being done with university and knowing what's coming next. Also, my job is not fulfilling me in any way, but I don't know what kind of job would actually do that. And then I'm wondering if a job has to fulfill me, or is that just something that social media is telling me? Now about my ex-boyfriend. We did long distance for 2.5 years. I thought everything was fine, and I really believed I would marry him. He broke up with me without even telling me that he was unhappy or even giving me any real reasons. He just decided from one day to another that he was done with me. And I'm having a really hard time dealing with that. Wow, full circle to that email.
Yeah, I know, right?
Y'all should talk.
Yeah.
Just kidding. And then she continues, now about my life in general. I'm worrying a lot about my future, about not having enough money because everything is getting so effing expensive. I really want to have a house someday, but I don't even know how to afford that. Also, I always thought that with 27, I would have my life in order. And by that, I mean having a boyfriend, maybe even being married, thinking about getting pregnant and owning a house or planning on getting one. So I guess my question is, how can I fall back in love with my life? I hope I worded everything well and that you could follow my thoughts. She puts, Taryne can help me with this. Tschüss, German for goodbye. Just.
I don't, honestly, the only phrases my Oma taught me were like counting and how to say, oh my dear God.
Okay. Well, she says goodbye in German. Love, Rose. And then she adds, P.S. I love the podcast so much. I've been listening since day one and hope you'll never stop creating more episodes.
Aww.
So sweet.
Okay, well, Rose, if you haven't listened to the episode that came out before this, you should definitely pause this and go listen to that, because I feel like she literally is saying what we said, like we fell into that trap of like trying
20s.
to have everything in line.
Yeah.
So definitely listen to that if you haven't already.
That's literally what I was going to say. I was going to say Taryne and I both have different versions of what we thought our life would look like by the age of 30. And I mean, if we want to sit and like unpack this, I thought I would have kids. I 1,000% thought I was going to be in a different career and own a house.
Yeah.
The not owning a house thing weirdly triggers me, and it bothers me
it does.
deeply that I don't like.
We've had a
have
lot of
home.
conversations about this.
Yeah, and it's something that like, it's funny because it's not always important to some people, but the people that get it, I think something about like owning a home feels like security, and it feels safe, and it feels like a step into your future, right? Like a good investment into your future. And for some reason, for me, that's how I view it as. And I'm like so unable to like be content in my life because I don't have that.
Yeah.
But I have a beautiful life.
Yeah.
A house doesn't make my life beautiful
No,
in any way. It's
absolutely
just
not.
an addition to my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think what Taryne and I have learned in our 30s is that having these expectations of ourselves just stresses you out more.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
feel
not
like-
necessary.
And it rushes you into making irrational decisions out of like, I have to have something like pinpointed right now.
Yeah.
And instead of just taking a moment and then letting like things organically happen.
Yeah, like one of our favorite episodes on New Girl that we talk about often is when Jess and Cece go and get their eggs tested to see like how fertile they are. And then that's all they start thinking about. And then she starts freaking out because she's 30 and her eggs are dying and she needs to go like get impregnated by anyone immediately. And if we were to like live life by that, you'd be like with some random guy that you don't actually like, having a kid that you actually weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
So having unrealistic goals like that, or like trying to have kids by 30, that's not realistic.
No, yeah.
Kids can be one of your goals, but let's not like create a timeline around that.
No, for sure.
Because then you might end up in a position where you didn't want to be, or you're not able to be a great mom because all of a sudden, you know.
Well, you sound like you're a victim of the mentality of you're always trying to achieve the next thing. And
she's probably a 3.
That is like a bottom. Wait, didn't she say she's a 2? Because she said hello, Taryne.
That was last episode.
Was it?
That's so embarrassing for you. Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was the tearing it up.
Mm.
You know what? Get off my case. Because you've said like I miss having a paper due and I miss like working towards this. So that was my first when I read or when I heard your story. That was my first thing is like you need to take very, very intentional time to work on contentment. And I think that's going to help snowball into all these areas because I think you're trying to reach the next goal, reach the next milestone, go to the next expectation and all these things. And it sounds very just like chaotic and just setting yourself up for failure, which makes sense why you're spiraling. Like I would too.
1,000%, yeah.
But one of the other things we've talked about this a lot, but I think jobs have 2 ways you can go. I think
that literally was prepped in my head.
Some people are blessed and able to have a job in an area that they're passionate about, and that's what they love to do. They get up ready to go to work and they love it, and that's great. Some people have jobs because they need money, and I don't think anything's wrong with either of them. Now, what you need to do is if this job is just something that's stable and giving you a paycheck, then you need to like make sure you're prioritizing time in your life to do things that make you passionate and feel happy.
Like start a podcast.
Girl, do
Just
it.
thoughts.
But that's where you have to kind of balance it out. But I don't think, but see, that again ties to the whole like you feeling pressured of, well, I'm not passionate about this. So should I be somewhere else? Should I, like, it sounds like you're just very frantic right now. And I think you need to take time to sit back and just be like, I am okay. Like, I am doing great. Look at all that I've done. I know that I'm going to attack whatever comes in the best way possible. Like, build your confidence up and feel that. And then as you go, like, if you're stressing out about buying a house, don't worry about buying a house right now. Like, get a cute apartment, save your money.
Well, you said you love goals.
Yeah.
Let's make a fun budgeting goal.
Yeah.
Where you can every month check off that you're 1 month closer to meeting your financial budget goal of buying a house.
Yeah.
Like, that's fun.
And life isn't always about giant goals. Yeah, in college, you had a term paper, you have a new semester, you have this. In life, like, sometimes my goal is like, I'm really going to try to, like, read my devotional in the morning. Like, and once I finish that, I celebrate it. Like, is it as big as writing a term paper? No. Is it as important? Yeah. Like, it's my goal that I set for the day. So I think you need to, like, do a lot of, like, moving things around in the level of importance you put on things, and also sitting back and realizing, like, you worked really hard in that chapter of your life to get to this point, and now this chapter looks different. So don't compare it, but strip it down and get to know like what's beautiful about this chapter and what to appreciate, and then also what to realize I don't need to have it all together. Like I don't need to have a house and a job I'm passionate about and a husband and all these things in this time. Like take a second to like just enjoy the life that you have.
Yeah. Oof. I think
it's so sad. It's so sad the pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
It's crippling. It really is.
Yeah. I think what you need to do is take a hard like step back. I think the job stress is obvious and clear. I think you're putting some serious unnecessary goals on yourself. And obviously the boyfriend, freaking trash. So yeah. I am sorry that he handled that in that way, because that is very hurtful. But I would take this next season of your life, your next single season, to focus on you, to date yourself, to learn to love yourself and where you're at, and learn to like love life again. I think there's nothing wrong. I completely agree with what Taryne said, but I really believe that something about this last generation on socials made it feel like you have to be passionate about your job.
Yeah.
My father woke up every day at the same job. He woke up every day at 4:30 to go to work, to come home at 5 and repeat his life like every single day. And would he say he was passionate about his job? No, but he loved the people he worked with. He decided to find joy in his job. He didn't love his job. He worked in like the water department.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would he say he's passionate about it? No, but he was passionate about his family and supporting them. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Was his life worse off because he wasn't passionate about his job? No,
it's a shift of perspective.
It's a huge shift of perspective. And I think within this last like 5 years, people made it seem like, oh, if your job isn't fulfilling you, you have to leave and you have to go find one that does fulfill you. But that's not your only option. No. And it's up to you to make that decision. Like if you want to work your 9 to 5, get your paycheck to buy your house, then do the damn thing.
That's
and find a hobby that you're passionate about. Maybe it's a charity, maybe it's learning an instrument, maybe it's hiking the tallest mountain in your area. Like find something that you're passionate about and do that on the side, and then get your passion from somewhere else. It doesn't have to be your job. And 90% of the time, the people that make the most money like aren't that passionate about their job. They are lawyers. They work their ass off so that they can go golf every weekend with the boys, you know, like there's nothing wrong with that. And that's a beautiful life that they have.
Yeah. One comment about the whole boyfriend thing, because she said he didn't give a reason, and she's like, whatever. There is a reason that the breakup happened.
Yeah, but
it has to do with him, and he's a coward. So you need to just realize like he did you a favor, and whatever he's shielding you from has to do with him. So you need to just like wipe your hands of him and move forward.
Yep.
But don't get wrapped up into trying to get answers, because sometimes we don't get them. So like don't obsess over it.
Yeah.
Just move forward.
27.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a prime
degree
age.
And your master's degree.
Oh, yeah.
You're clearly a 10. Another boy will come around and you'll fall in love and you'll have a beautiful relationship with him. You can just forget about this other guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
He's the worst.
He sucks. But just take a breath.
I really think take a step back, start going on daily walks.
Yeah.
And take a deep breath of air, get in the sunshine.
Build a Lego.
Forget about him.
Yeah.
And I think life will show itself to you how beautiful it is.
And like celebrate yourself. Like you're killing it. Like take a moment to be like
27.
I can't believe I've been spending all this time just thinking I didn't have anything together. Like how about I celebrate like what I have done? Because I heard that and was like, dang, like that's cool. Yeah. But you said it all in a very negative tone. So I think you need to shift and start to celebrate yourself and start to acknowledge all the amazing things you've done in life.
Yeah.
And start to change that perspective.
And like, how would you talk to me? Because I don't own a house. I am not married. I don't have kids. I'm 33 and I don't have a master's degree. Like, if we're going to be as harsh as you're being to yourself, then I suck. You know, I've gone nowhere with my life. You know, like if I was to hold these expectations that you're holding on yourself.
Ashley crying.
So yeah, I think in short, I feel like you're being way too hard on yourself. You're going through a tough breakup, so I am sorry about that, but you need to be more gentle everywhere else.
I agree.
If you want,
Fall
I'll
in
send him
love.
a strongly worded email.
Yes,
Just,
she will.
Just slide me his email address.
Fall in love with yourself. That needs to be your
Date yourself.
priority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to end with a dad joke.
You better.
Why do cows have hooves and no feet? This one's funny.
So they can move.
No. They lactose. Lactose.
That's good.
Lactose.
That's a pretty good one.
Great.
All right, guys. You know the drill. If you made it to the dad joke, we love you the mostest. Follow us on socials at Advice Unsolicited Pod. We have merch. Believe it or not, we still have merch. So check out our merch website. Get your merch going. Also, we've been doing fun giveaways on socials where you can actually get free merch. So be sure to subscribe and maybe hit the bell so that you get notifications when we post stuff, so that you don't miss out on some free merch. And we'll talk to you guys.
YouTube.
I think you can get notifications on Instagram too. Isn't it a bell?
Is it a bell? I don't know, actually.
I think it's a bell, but I could be YouTube thinking.
I only
YouTube
have my
brain.
notifications on for you and Alicia, and it's because you guys did that. I don't even know how that happened. But every time you post, I know.
I did that intentionally. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys in the next episode, which will be coming soon, Monday.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.